All right. Well, Kufar, Akbar, everybody, welcome to a New Year's edition of the Cross and the Crescent discussion group. This is a YouTube streamed weekly show dedicated to rightly dividing the truth between Christianity and Islam. We're here not every Tuesday. It used to be Tuesdays, but Sundays at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't confuse that with Eastern Standard Time. And we broadcast from the depths of the cavernous Kafir cave in Dar al-Harb, Kafiristan. That's right, baby. We're back. After you get away from this for a couple of weeks, and Rad and I even talked about doing a show over the holidays, but we just could not get the times to connect, and we just got to the point where just take the time off. And we did. And so it's good to be back in the Attila the Hun chair here. Okay, so before we get to today's content, which is kind of a parody, I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not. We wouldn't think that Muhammad would go to Jeffrey Epstein's island. However, we're going to ask some interesting questions that deal with that, since that was kind of dominated the news the last 48 hours. I want to give a shout out to none other than myself. I have developed this hokey website. It's called Thekifer.com. Let me bring it up here. Thekifer.com. Where are you, Thekifer? Where'd you go? Thekifer.com. Thekifer.com it has articles that are written by me, and sometimes I post other articles that are on here. I have articles about Muhammad, the Quran. Quran is mainly dealing with why the Quran is false, and I'm starting with anachronisms there. Articles on Islam itself. I have a whole laundry list of recommended websites that one can go to. This opening page that I have here, I'm going to redo because it's kind of, I don't know, it's just not all that in a bag of chips. And if you have you put your time and your money into a website, you want to have it looking as good as it could possibly get. And this is just something that I had an idea. I said, hey, let's make a website, and I just threw a bunch of crap together. So when I do retire this May, sorry, Paul. So when I do retire this May, I'll have plenty to do on a daily basis if I so choose to do it. And maybe, hopefully by then, I'll learn how to update it on my own and change things around without having to go to my local techie guy down there at my church to show me how to do it. That's what I'm hoping to do. But anyway, if you get a chance, get over there, thekafir.com, thekafir.com. I have a place there where you can subscribe to it. If you want to do that, I'd appreciate that. There's a subscription box there at the bottom. Hold on, let me bring that up there. Hold on, let me go back over here. All you have to do is just go to the bottom, and it says subscribe to it. And we also have our YouTube channel on there, Crossing the Crescent discussion group, all the latest YouTube videos from the show. So I'll be adding a lot more stuff as time goes by, when I actually get some personal time to do it. Okay, so let's get into the content of the show. Now, I just kind of threw this idea. I'll tell you, I did not come up with this idea. I'll give you one guess. Mutahari. Who do you think came up with the idea of this show? That would be Darcy.
Where's Mutahari?
Mutahari is AFK. My goodness, I feel abandoned now. I'm having security issues. Paul, who do you think came up with the idea?
This is a rad idea.
There's no doubt, and nobody can say, okay, well, let's see, was Muhammad on Epstein's island? Would Eric come up with that? And Eric can have some evil thoughts, and he can come up with some devious things. But I would have never thought, well, of course Muhammad would go to Epstein's island. So I'm going to let Rad, and I'll tell you, I kind of threw this on Rad at the beginning when we were in the studio at the beginning of the show. I said, Rad, you're going to have to come up with a case of why you think Muhammad would be on Epstein's island, because I personally, and I'm not going to tell you why, but I personally don't think Muhammad would have ever gone to Epstein's island. So, Rad, I'm going to let you go ahead and run the show for 2 minutes and 46 seconds.
2 minutes and 46 seconds. 46 seconds exactly. Wow.
Now you're down to 44. You better hurry.
Well, to be fair, to be honest, I actually did not come up with the idea. Somebody else came up with the idea. One of our listeners and watchers. He came up with the idea and he said, yeah, you guys should do this. And then I messaged it to Eric. And then Eric put it together and then tells me like 15 minutes ago that I have to do a presentation on why Muhammad would be on Epstein's island or on the client list. So, of course, I put something together because it's really that easy. All you got to do is go to the Islamic sources. And I can already hear the response right now. Hold on, where is it? What was I looking for? I had it. But anyway, yeah, all you got to do is go to the Islamic sources, and you will find
Islamophobia at its finest. It's true.
True Islamophobia at its finest, the Islamic sources. So let me share my screen here. Share screen. So first, I want to play. Well, should I play the video first, or no? We'll do the text, and I'll end it with the video. I want search results. Yeah, let's go with this. Or is it this one? No, let's go with this one. Okay. So, according to Aisha herself, in Sahih people, sources, it was near from Aisha that the Messenger of Allah married her when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage when she was 9. That's Sahih Hadith. We have another Sahih Hadith. It's all in the Book of Marriage, people. The Messenger of Allah married me when I was 6 and consummated the marriage with me when I was 9. Now, that's grade Hassan. That's grade Hassan, which I believe is a little bit lower grade than Sahih. Okay? But then we go to another in Sahih Muslim. The Hadith is narrated thus on the authority of Aisha through another chain of transmitters. The Messenger of Allah, may peace be upon me, observed 6. Oh, no. Okay, that's 4. Okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Bowing 6 and prostrating 4 times. No. Here we go. So this is another grade Sahih. Okay. The Messenger of Allah married me when I was 6 and consummated married me when I was 9. And I used to play with dolls. Now, really quickly here, people. What do you think playing with dolls means? Does that mean like collecting action figures or having stuffed animals around? Anybody have any thoughts? Eric?
That means she's not yet had puberty.
Yeah, I wanted to add to that. I had myself on mute. I took that phone call. I'm sorry. Yeah, and we know this. We know this not because Kafirs say this. It's because Al-Tabari, the historian of Islam, makes a comment when he provided a commentary itself, a tafsir on Sahih Bukhari's collection, and he goes in and he comments and says that the reason why she was prepubescent is because it was against Islamic law, it's against the Sharia for prepubescent or for girls who have reached maturity or for Muslims themselves to deal with images. So if you're a prepubescent, you can deal with images, which includes dolls. So Al-Tabari, this isn't the Kafir saying this. Al-Tabari says this. Now, what I would also add is that Al-Tabari also says when he makes a commentary on Bukhari. Now you are okay. So you are citing Bukhari here, correct? Yes, you are. Okay, so
Can you enlarge that, Rad, because it's kind of hard to see.
yeah, I can get it. There we go. When he cites Bukhari, he says that if a hadith is rated
I would still
Sahih.
enlarge it. There we go. Yeah.
He says when a hadith is rated Sahih, when he was providing his commentary on Bukhari, he said if a hadith is rated Sahih, then there is a 99 to 100% chance that that hadith is authentic. If the hadith is rated Hassan, which is there's three ratings, Sahih, Hassan, Daif. If it is rated Hassan, then that means that there is an 85 to 99% chance that that hadith is authentic. If it is rated Daif, then there is a 40 to 85% chance. There's still an 85% chance, folks, that the hadith, even if it's Daif, is an authentic hadith. So anytime people try to, if a Muslim tries to back out of this and tries to back out, said, "Oh, she wasn't 9 years old," when what they're doing is they are throwing their most trusted scholars under the bus because of the embarrassment that Muhammad has caused the contemporaneous ummah. That's a fact. That's just a fact. Okay, I'm sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
Is that not Islamophobia at its finest?
It is. It is.
It's total Islamophobia there. All right, here. So let's go over a few other ones here. The Prophet married her. This is Sahih. This is from the Wedlock Marriage book. The Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. Islam said, "I have been informed that Aisha remained with the Prophet for 9 years till his death. I was apostle to marry me when I was 6 years old, and I was admitted to his house when I was 9 years old." Over and over again, source after source after source says that she was 9 years old. You know what? Oh man, I might have to come back and get something else. But let's go to the Quran. Let me stop presenting. Let's go to the Quran. And this is something interesting from the Quran here.
I should have just sent you my slideshow, right? Because I have all this on a slideshow.
Oh, do you? Well,
if I was a kind guy, I was actually looking for it while at the beginning of the show, but I couldn't find it.
Well, I was able to just put this all together. I mean, in a matter of 15 minutes. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? I mean, this is how predictable they are. So is that bigger for you guys?
Yep. There we go. We can see it. There we go.
So let's go with the Sahih International. So this is on divorce, on what's called the waiting period of divorce. Now, why is there a waiting period of divorce? Okay. So Muslims were like pretty much trading their women left and right. I mean, they could just divorce them with no problem, and then they trade them off to somebody else. It was like no big deal. This is seriously like this is before there was swinging and wife swapping in the 60s. Muhammad and his very band of followers were doing this. You know what I mean? So this is all this is. But they had this waiting period of divorce that you had to wait 3 months just to make sure you weren't trading off a pregnant woman. Because let's face it, when you're buying a sex slave or a sex wife, you don't want someone else's pregnant, garbage thrown at you. I'm just saying, people, because they were somewhat respectable back in the days. When they were committing this horrendous act of trading off their women like they were bargaining chips. But here we have it. Sahih International. And those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their period is 3 months. So you got to wait for 3 months if they've entered menopause. And also, for those that have not menstruated. So for those that have not menstruated, you got to wait for 3 months. And for those who are pregnant, their term is until they give birth. And whoever fears Allah, he will make for him his case, or his matter easy. Now that's Sahih International. That's the I believe that's done by the Salifs, right? From Saudi Arabia. Am I correct
Which
on
one? Which one? Say it again.
Sahih International.
That's the
I think
most
that's
contemporaneous one. I'm not sure. It's probably the most, what we would say, the most liberal,
okay.
the most liberal translation, I guess you could say, to provide some type of cover for Muhammad and his excesses.
Okay. So let's go. So Pictol pretty much has the same wording, along with those who have it not, who have it menstruated, and for those that are with the child. Yusuf Ali, such as women as have passed the age of monthly courses, for them the prescribed period, if you have any doubt, it's 3 months. And for those who have no courses, okay, it is the same. For those that carry life in their wombs, the period until they deliver the burden. Shakir has it in those who have not had their courses. And for the pregnant woman, it's the same. But if we go to the tafsir, it actually explains this. What does that mean? Who do not experience menstruation, who have not yet menstruated. Okay.
Would you like to see that? Would you like to see that?
Yes. Please,
Okay,
let us see
I thought
that.
I thought you would never ask. Let me put mine up there. Stop screen. I'm stopping your screen. Going to put my screen up there. Present. Huh. So here we go. Let's go. We'll start with who is this? This is, we're talking about Ibn Abbas. Ibn Abbas says, look what Ibn Abbas, let me make this large for everybody so they don't have any problem seeing it. Ibn Abbas says, O Messenger, what about the waiting period of those who do not have menstruation because they're too young, along with those who have not, because of their young, because why? Because of their young age. Their waiting period is 3 months. For who? Because of their young age, not because they have some type of.
This is because they don't understand basic biology and women as a whole. They think a woman can be pregnant 3 months before she has a. Oh my gosh, it's just so bad.
I got another one. Let's go to another one. Let's go to Al-Jalalain. We went to Ibn Abbas, who was contemporary with Muhammad. Al-Jalalain says basically the same thing. For those, let's see, shall be 3 months, their period, their prescribed waiting period, who have not yet menstruated. Because why? Because of their young age. Let's go to another one. How about Ibn Abbas? Okay, how about Ibn Abbas? Let's look and see what Ibn Abbas has to say. Ibn Kathir. So we had Ibn Abbas, Al-Jalalain, all say because of their long age, instead of 3 month cycles, which is based upon the Surat. The same for young who have not reached the age. This is Ibn Kathir, the greatest of all the compilers of tafsir, says the same for the young who have not yet reached the years of menstruation. So you have, think about this. Hold on, folks. Now you have of course, you have Allah saying that you can consummate a marriage, and then divorce a young prepubescent girl, a little girl, before she has had her first menstrual cycle. You can do this to a little girl who has not yet menstruated, who's prepubescent. I got one more of a contemporaneous one. Maududi. Maududi lived in the 20th century. Let's see what he has to say. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. No, Kaffir, don't say that. Maududi. What does Maududi have to say? Their waiting period, their date of divorce. As for women whose courses are irregular, okay. And then here's what Maududi is. Look at what a chicken Maududi is. He says Ibn Abbas say that the waiting period for the woman who has not menstruated for a year is 3 months. Look at what a coward this guy is. He won't even say it because he knows what a creep that turns his prophet into. So he writes this huge. Oh no, here it is. Here we go. No, maybe
Yeah.
it's not.
He
such a
may
coward.
not
Here.
have menstruated yet.
Right there. So women, because there's no such maybe case. Okay, but look, he tries to qualify it, but right here, boom, comma, or.
Yeah.
So he's got the keyword or. So what's before that? Because of their young age. So everyone that I brought up, just four of these creeps say that it's okay for a grown man, a 53-year-old grown man, to crawl upon a 9-year-old prepubescent little girl. All right, Brad. There you got your greatest commentator in Islam, providing the Muslim guidance on what exactly is somebody who has not yet had their courses.
Well, okay, so yeah, so I mean, all the Muslim sources, all the Muslim commentators, everyone says that this is perfectly halal from Allah. So yes, I am going to say that definitely Muhammad would have been a frequent flyer to Jeffrey Epstein's island. Okay, but I have a video to prove this of one of Muhammad's modern day followers who actually, well, just listen to this.
No, hold on. Have I seen this before?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I'm sure. It's Daniel Hakachu.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
All right, okay, because I thought this was something that you had.
Pikachu.
That
No,
okay.
this is actually. I would have to say this is one of Islam's greatest debaters. He really is. Not that he wins debates, but he's so honest, dude.
I know that's the amazing thing about this guy, and he still is walking around a free man in Western society. That's what's scary.
I know. Well, hey, why not? Dude, I am sure he's a Fed or the Feds are watching him, and anybody that likes his Facebook, Twitter, or whatever,
I know.
They're like,
we're
on that guy.
And he says, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Don't do that because somebody may be knocking on your door.
He's like a popsicle. He's like a popsicle.
Hey, Aladdin, we're going to be talking about your Palestinian brothers here in just a moment. Hang on, man. It's going to be fun. Go ahead, Red. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's like a popsicle that you drop on a hot summer day and just attract the ants to. You know what I mean?
Are we talking about Aladdin or are we talking about
Muhammad? Hakachu here.
Hakachu, okay.
All right. Oh, we can do extra cameras now? Huh. Interesting. Share screen. And we don't also share audio. That's always on now. That's interesting.
Those are my set. Don't be monkeying around with the settings.
I'm not. Okay. Here we go. Can y'all see it?
Yep.
Let me know if you can hear it here. I'm going to play it here.
Yep, can hear it.
Do you know what precocious puberty is?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is it?
It means starting puberty unusually early, like
Can
beyond
you
averages.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
No, marriage can happen. You can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that sex is allowed.
But could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated if she started precocious puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible. As I stated, that's
what about
the
age
principle.
4?
If there are signs
3.
So this is something that becomes biologically impossible because precocious
I have
puberty,
a study
there are
that shows
no.
it goes as early as 11 months.
All right, well, that's something that the parents would not. The thing about Islamic marriage is that parents are involved at these ages. And when you look at the marriage of the Prophet, if there are signs
3.
So this is something that becomes biologically impossible.
I don't know what happened there.
I have a study that shows it goes as early as 11 months.
All right, well, that's something that the parents would not. The thing about Islamic marriage is that parents are involved at these ages. And when you look at the marriage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, to Aisha, her parents were involved. And so she was not living with the Prophet, peace be upon him. even though she was married to him. So the parents have oversight, and sometimes a qadi or a judge can have oversight if the guardians are not capable, to make sure that the rights and the physical well-being of a child are not, or a minor, are not harmed by that marriage.
What about, because you've tried to justify sexual slavery after a war.
All right.
So what if a man finds
All right,
That's about it.
yeah, we just-
Okay. So notice he said no problem. 4 years old, yes. If they're showing signs of puberty, yes. Allah be pleased. And he's like 3, and then the dude he's like, yeah, well, okay. So 3 evidently is the cutoff point for him. That's where he kind of has the ick factor. But he, it's like, hey, 3, no, 4, yes. He's all randy for that. He's all ready to go. But notice that his back out his excuse. Well, the parents would be involved. They would decide. Well, dude, you're a parent, right? And you just said that 4 years old, if there was precocious puberty, is okay with you. So what does that say? You know what I mean about your parenting skills? Not only that, but there are horrible parents out there. There are parents that sell their children for crack cocaine. You know what I mean? So why wouldn't they do this? So no, the whole thing is obscene at its best. So yes, I rest my case that Muhammad definitely would have been a frequent flyer, a permanent resident at pedophile island, Jeffrey Epstein's island. Yeah, it would have been good times with old Muhammad. So yeah.
I mean, after watching that, I don't know how the people, listeners feel, but just after watching that, just think of those dark places that you're forced to go, that you're forced to consider, that you're forced to think about by following the Sunnah of Muhammad. I mean, is there anything that, when we say that we want to be Christ-like, is there anything that we would have a problem with if we were following? I mean, where we would have to make some type of excuse of what Christ did or said? And I would say unequivocally, no. Obviously there wouldn't be. But when you talk about, people like Pikachu, what's his name? Daniel. It's not Pikachu. What is it?
I don't know. I just say Hikachu. That's all I say.
Okay.
He pronounces it differently, but everybody says Hikachu or Hakachu, whatever.
What did you say, Darcy?
It's like Hakachu or something similar.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever the guy's name is. When you think about I mean, even Ali Dawah has. I mean, we talk about some of the most famous Islamic apologists today who have the most followers on YouTube. Muhammad Hijab. When we think of the positions that he's had to take on this, and what the Quran does is he actually teaches that you can have that sex with the people. It is sick what these guys, with the corner that these guys are forced to go into in order to defend Muhammad. But I'm going to disagree with Rat. I do not think that Muhammad would have gone to Jeffrey Epstein's island.
It's because you're a heretic.
It's not because it's not because I don't believe the Islamic source. Well, first off, I do not believe the Islamic sources. Let's just put it that way. I think they were fabricated centuries after Muhammad and redact the story back upon him, turning him into this, this Houdini of some sort. That's what I think of them. However, if we're going to go with what Muslims believe are their most trusted sources, and we assign the hadith, these sayings of Muhammad, these actions of Muhammad, as being sahih and very trusted, well, then of course you're going to have to look at them from their perspective, not mine. I don't think Muhammad did any of these things because I don't think Muhammad lived in the 7th century. I don't think Mecca existed in the 7th century. I don't think there's any evidence for that. But with that said, Muslims do. So Muslims must follow the example of Muhammad. It says it several places in the Quran where they have been provided an excellent example in Muhammad. And if Muhammad did it, as described in the Hadith and the Sunnah, which we have clearly demonstrated that their most trusted sources, the hadith that are rated to 99 to 100% being authentic, and there's several of them that are rated sahih, then it's almost a slam dunk case that this did occur if you do believe these sources and you trust the consistency of these sources. But where my opinion differs with Rad is I think that Muhammad, here's a guy that has convinced literally millions, if not billions of people that what he did throughout his life is an excellent example to follow. For example, he caused the divorce. Think about this. He caused the divorce of his adopted son and then marries the ex-wife of his adopted son. And then he receives a revelation. He causes the divorce of his adopted son's wife. Then he receives a revelation that it's okay to marry her, and that his example is for other believers to know that it's okay for people to marry the ex-wives of their adopted sons. Why? Because there's no adoption in Islam. There's no adoption. The most humane thing that we can do as human beings is adopt another human being, give us our name, and raise them in our own homes as our own. Muhammad did away with that because he got turned on after he looked at the why. Now, this is why it's just so sick to talk about this. That is
This is why Muhammad didn't need his own private island. He had his own community. He could pick and choose from even his relatives.
Don't give it away yet. Hold on, I'm getting there. Hold on. Be patient. Be patient with me. Be patient with me, please. Gross. It is. And then what else did he do? Well, he gets caught having sex in his wife's Hafsa's bed with his slave girl, Mary the Copt. And he says, I promise I'll never do it again. But what happens? He turns around and he gets this revelation from Allah saying, why do you promise your wives, trying to seek the approval of your wives when I have freely given to you these women that your right hand possesses? So when we think about a man who's able to murder people, I mean, look at what he did to the Banu Qurayza tribe, commit ethnic cleansing, the Banu Nadir, the Banu Kanuka, the Banu Qurayza, ethnically cleanse them from the Hijaz. You think about a man who engaged in slavery, selling slaves, owning slaves, enslaving people. When you think of a man, somebody's got a hot mic. Is that you, Paul?
Yeah, I'll take care of it.
Okay, thanks. Who's enslaved people. When you think of a man who deceived people and said that Allah says it's okay to deceive people, you're thinking about some of the most awful things that people can do, and that he is supposed to be an excellent example to follow. But what Muhammad did, and this is why I disagree with Rad, is Muhammad created his own little fantasy island. Muhammad created his own community. He created his own. Instead of having to jet off to some faraway land where you can engage in sexual proclivities and perversions without the prying eye of the world upon you, and you can do what you feel is what you feel free to do, which would include having sex with underage women, little girls, and whatever other kind of perverse things that human beings do. He just says it's sunnah. He just says that, well, it's okay to do this. It's okay, don't you see, to marry the ex-wives of your adopted sons. It's okay, don't you see, to have sex with sex slaves in the beds of your wives, plural. It's okay to have more than four. It's okay to have more than one wife. It's okay to have more than four wives, don't you see? It's okay to encourage your followers to rape women captives, even when their husbands are there. But the sickest thing the sixth and the most perverse thing, it's okay to have sex with prepubescent little girls as long as you call it marriage. And they're one of four wives. You got to treat them all equally, don't you see? As long as you call it marriage, it's okay to do this. And for 1,400 years, and this is what just angers me and just chills me to the bone, thinking about what this one man has done to hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands or millions of little girls for centuries. He himself has created an Epstein Island. As long as those lands are not Dar ar Harb, they're Dar ar, no, what are they? Dar ar Harb is the house of war, Dar ar Islam. As long as they're Dar ar Islam, the house of Islam, they're able to do these things because nobody's going to put them in jail for it. Because why? Well, the prophet did this. Their prophet did this.
Well,
so no,
see,
he wouldn't have been on that. He would not have been on the Lolita Express. All right, Matt, go ahead.
well, no. So, okay. So a better one would be that if Jeffrey Epstein would have followed the prophet and followed the sunnah of the prophet Muhammad and become a good Muslim, he could have turned his private island into Allah's paradise, where all the Muslim men could come and enjoy prepubescent, and it would have been halal, and he would have been untouchable because he's just practicing his religion. And how dare you Islamophobes, you bigots, okay, try to prevent Muslims from practicing their religion on their own island. And, the parents, they don't care, right? So why should you? And Jeffrey Epstein would still be alive today. You see, it's all because of your Islamophobic bigotry that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Well, yeah. And Biden won the election.
Just stop with that. Okay. So a couple comments there in chat. Did away with adoptions because Leviticus 20 says it's an abomination to marry your own daughter-in-law. And Rob said that the UN is controlled by the OIC, and they turn a blind eye to it. They turn a blind eye also to what happened to the Israeli women during the massacre on October 7th. Okay, does anybody have anything else that they want to chime in on that, to get away from that? We have I have quite a few different video clips that I want to play here that deal with current events, things that have been coming up here.
I want to play a real quick video of Daniel Hakachu confronting Muslims. It's kind of funny and shocking.
Is this okay? Is this the one? Is this the one where he went to the mosque?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
okay.
You got to see this clip. It's too funny.
All right.
So I got to tell you, I mean, I really do like Daniel Hakachu. It's funny because he did that debate when the imam from Texas. I guess they're both from Texas. So
maybe he goes to the imam's mosque. Who knows?
Yeah, no. So I remember when Kenny was doing his review of the debate, they asked him, like, do you think it was Islamophobia that they put that other Muslim on defending child marriage? He said, yeah, absolutely, that was Islamophobia. And I don't know what that guy was talking about. And I talked to Hakachu. Well, I chatted with Hakachu on what do you call it, on Facebook, and he's like, yeah, Kenny's an idiot.
Really?
So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. I found it. Are you guys ready?
Go.
Have the Daniels in our community who love to destroy our leadership, who love to wreck our imams, who find pleasure in destroying and lying. Everything he said about me is a complete lie. But he never called me to ask. I'm willing to talk to you about anything you want to talk about. But stop lying about me and be a man and come and visit me in my face. I'm here in Houston. You can go to Pinkerton. I'll get you some brisket. Bring the cameras. It's all good. I'm not your mom anymore. I could be a little loose. Although Daniel won't like it. Dang, Daniel. I'm here. Anyone see Daniel in the audience? He's good at making videos, but he ain't here now. If you're a man, meet me in person. Let him know I said that on his Telegraph, brothers. And for those of you who follow Daniel, tell that brother, I'm here all weekend long. Let's sit down in front of everyone and talk about your lies.
He don't play around. He shows up in the car on the way.
Explain to me why you didn't clear with the masjid before asking me to come. You have a whole lecture.
Lying about me.
I didn't lie about you. We want to talk about
You
that.
did lie about me.
We're going to talk about the lies. We're going to talk about the lies. Yeah. So please explain to me why you invited me to this masjid to come and talk to you, and the masjid doesn't want us here.
I have no idea. Because I'm ready to talk to you.
Okay, so where should we talk?
As you like. Choose a place.
Daniel's gonna get his butt kicked.
Did you see that? Choose a place. He's like looking around. Yeah. No, we're not doing this here.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was the funniest thing because he's like, yeah, nothing happening.
We'll go.
I actually believe it.
Yeah, be a man and come and.
So that's why. That's why.
Why someone could come here and call me a liar, and then I come to defend myself. You enjoyed yourself last night, laughing it up. Them identifying people.
Oh yeah. So Hakachu is actually right because this dude, this Daniel Shabib Webb, he's a graduate of Al Ansar University, and we got other videos of him. Anthony Rogers used to have a field day with him and this other Muslim, the student that always wore track suits that he went to the Medina University, and they would battle it out, and this dude would be like, I got these fly kicks on, and my shoes, and I'll put this up your butt. I mean, no, they were getting really bad. So anyway, but this dude, this Saji Webb, he's actually promoting, yes, go read Playboy magazine, and no joke, and other stuff promoting LGBTQ and other imams. I mean, no, it's just kind of funny. So Hakachu is actually right here on this, but let me get it to the end here.
What's the hukum shari? What's the hukum shari of taking a picture?
No, you can take a picture with them.
Right.
No, I asked everyone. Can Muslim and Imam asked us.
not sacrificing
Brother,
any
you're
Muslim
defending.
Asked us.
Yes or no, young brother?
So should I post dude? So it's okay. She just did an interview. So activists, they will promote. Like we didn't even get to his LGBT activism of Imam Sohaib.
That's the question about what
All of this is documented. He called me a liar.
Brother Daniel, that's enough.
Yeah, it's enough now. When you're, I'm not done. It's a public place.
You deflected, brother.
Yeah, I deflected. We're not listening to you. So this is
Every question.
yeah, it'll be uncut. Trust me. When he says read and saying, "Oh, my Rabbi Ron is here," mocks Islam, plays a basketball game of horse to determine.
There he is, they're walking out.
And he, when the Sheikh invited him, he came here and he accused him of promoting pornography.
He tweeted people to go.
Of promoting pornography. That is haram. That is haram.
You're saying it's haram. Tell him. I know it's haram.
He was not in a safe space. So that could have ended very poorly for him, which would have been funny because we all would have been laughing. But that's all I wanted to show on him. I hope y'all enjoyed that.
This is one of the things that we do know about people of that faith system is that they are not afraid to tear each other limb for limb in public. It's for me it's disgusting. If you have a problem with a fellow believer, what does the Bible tell us to do? It says, first off, if you have an issue with another fellow believer, you're to pray about it. You're to go to God. You can say, God, is this, something that I should, try to reconcile this with, am I at fault here? And then you were to go to that believer by yourself, not with YouTube cameras or what have you, like these guys are doing. And then for the one, is that guy a sheikh? You said he went to Al Azhar University. He's a sheikh.
Yeah, he wasn't a mom, but he's no longer a mom. I don't know what he does, but no, he actually promotes LGBTQ stuff. One of the things that you didn't see in that was he's actually, where did I get a blue dot in my computer screen. He that's weird. He actually there was some Muslim feminist that did an interview with Playboy
Right.
magazine.
Right. I saw
And
that part. Yeah.
yeah, and he's encouraging the Muslims to go read the article Playboy, and he's like, because Daniel's a Salafi, he's a special kind of Salafi. It's a Dambiism. I wish Issa was there because he could tell me Dubiism, something like that.
Well, there's
Yeah,
Issa right there.
Issa
Ask
just popped
Issa.
in. I summoned him. Issa, what is Daniel?
You channeled Issa, and he popped up on the
Yeah,
screen. Way to
I
go.
summoned him. I summoned him. I've been doing that a lot lately. Yeah. I just think about people and they show up. Issa, you there? What was this dude? Let me see if I can pull it up in the chats. And see, that's another thing. So, where is it? This is live, people. Okay. Here we go.
You're talking about Hikachu being a Salafi?
Yeah, Diobandi. So they're reformers of the reformers. So you have the Salafis that were the reformers, and then later on in like the 1800s, okay, or 1800s, you then had the Diobandis, which were the reformers of the reformers.
Right.
So
are they more violent?
Yeah, they're like the Taliban. They're the Taliban.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
and this is kind of some of the points that we have made. And I've heard other people on the show say that Islam is in need of a reformation, and the fact is that they have recently, within the last 200 years, gone through all kinds of reforms, and the reforms have resulted in them going back to the fundamental. Because you talk about Christian fundamentalism, going back to the fundamentals of Christianity. Well, there's nothing wrong with being a Christian fundamentalist at all. Because what you're doing is you're going back to the precepts of the gospel itself. There's nothing wrong with that. So when you do that, if you do that as a Muslim, though, you're going back to the precepts of what is in the Quran and what Muhammad had taught. And that is a very perilous place to be because there are a lot of things in there that people are using and are emphasizing as far as justifying their acts of violence against other people. And that's never a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. So the Diobandis. So the other. So okay, they call other people Malakis, something like that. Okay, so basically in Islam, okay, you have the Saudi Salafis. They instituted the right of kings. Okay, basically how we had in Europe. Okay, the divine right of kings to rule. Okay, well the Salafis actually took that and they say that the ruler. Okay. As divine right, divine right, and even if the ruler tells you to do something pagan, you are to obey the ruler. I'm not making that up. Okay, that's what these guys are talking about. So you have like Shamsi from Speaker's Corner, the dude he's probably going to be dead soon since the time of Israel. Called him a friend of Israel.
That's not good. That is not good. Yeah,
they did him dirty. They did him dirty. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, they call them bootlickers. Okay. The term actually does translate, I think, into bootlickers. But basically, that these bootlickers, they believe that you are to obey the ruler at all times, at all things, and you are never to publicly criticize the ruler. You are to criticize the ruler only privately. Well, how can you criticize a ruler privately because you have no access to the ruler? So that makes no sense. So I would say Daniel Hekachu is right on this. Yeah, if you have access to the ruler, you can criticize him privately. But if you don't have access to the ruler, then your only option is to criticize him publicly. And I would agree with Daniel Hekachu, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, in Christianity, yes, we are to be our rulers. But if our rulers tell us to kiss the ring of Caesar and worship Caesar, what do? We go to the cross. You know what I mean? Yes, and lots of people didn't. But again, go to the cross. You go to being set on fire. You go to the lions. You know what I mean? Okay. But they actually believe the opposite. They believe no matter what, you're supposed to follow these rulers. Well, the Diobandis are like, No, you are not a Muslim if you do that, and we will kill you. So again, they're the reformers of the reformers, and they're the ones they're the Taliban. They're the one. Oh, this actually started in Pakistan region, Talibani region. Okay, this is the mostly the Pashtunis. So yeah, it's very interesting. I just kind of started studying this. So we got to do a show on this, the different sects of Sunni Islam, because they are bat crack crazy, dude.
Yeah, some of them are. You know, a lot of them. Well, okay, yeah, that might be an idea in the
Right.
future. Okay, I want to shift gears here and start focusing on some of the things that are being said here in the Western Hemisphere about Christianity, about Western civilization itself, and it pertains to, of course, this struggle, quote unquote, that's going on between the Gazinians and the nation of Israel, the sovereign nation of Israel. You know, we've all watched in horror some of the uh, video clips of what transpired on October 7th. And, you know, you just cannot get past the savagery and the barbarism that is involved in that, in what these people did. And then they, you know, they have the temerity to label themselves as being some type of soldier or some type of freedom fighter, or, you know, it's anything other than being a piece of human garbage. It was what their people have tried to elevate these people to. And then since then, we have been bombarded with a daily diet of horrific images coming out of Gaza, where you know, you have these civilians that are being purposely put in between Israeli IDF soldiers who are responding to what these pieces of garbage did to their civilians, and trying to get their hostages that these people had taken back. And it's just it's and you know, here's another thing that I just, every time that there is a call for a ceasefire, we need a ceasefire, there must be a ceasefire. Well, there was a ceasefire on October 6th, and there were all kinds of subsequent ceasefires agreed between the Israelis and Hamas prior to that, and every single time that there was a ceasefire, Hamas violated it. And in this time, Hamas violated it in a way in which the Israelis are never going to be able again to agree with that group of people, if you want to label them as people, you know, to trust them to honor their word. Not that they would trust them before, but to even enter any type of agreement with them. And one of the things that I watched this week was a video by one of the hostages that they have released. The video is on the hostage named, her name's Mia Shem. And Mia Shem is a young lady. She was at that music festival. She was at the music festival that was attacked by, you know, machine gun wielding terrorists going around purposely machine gunning people, killing them, raping women at will, and in the process of raping women, disemboweling them, cutting off their breasts, sticking knives into their vaginal area, and cutting them all the way up to their throat. Thank you, Rob, for reminding me of what we call these people. And she herself was shot by one of these terrorists in the arm, and she had lost use of the arm while she was in captivity, of course. And then she had an operation while she was in captivity, and they, of course, you know, the Gazinians made this big deal of, look at, we spent our resources on, you know, providing this woman, you know,
we're taking care of her,
right? Yeah, our surgery,
after we shot her.
Yeah, look at how kind we are and how compassionate we are for this. But what
I
she
think
did was,
it was a vet. By the way, it was a veterinarian. Which, no, seriously, if you got a gunshot wound in Chicago, you want to go to a veterinarian. I'm just saying, because, you know, they'll treat you under the cover, and you don't have to report it to the police. But again, they did not provide her with adequate medical treatment. Just saying.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, hold on. Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to ruin it.
No, this while she was in captivity, with this guy, she was in captivity. She stayed in the home of one of the Hamas holes, along with the Hamas hole's family. And she said a lot of things about this guy. And one of the things that was, so amazing is she said, well, this guy admitted to me that, he didn't love his wife. And, she was purposely, how did she say this? But she was purposely ingratiating herself to them so they wouldn't think of her as an animal, and they would be less likely to kill her. And the thing the mantra that she keeps on saying is that she never gave up hope. She always tried to stay optimistic, even up to the time, where she thought she was going to be killed, but yet they released her. But the video clip that I want to play about her, which really illustrates a lot to me, is the fact that she said that there was an instance where one of the Hamas hole's kids came into the room in which she was being guarded with a bag of candy. And listen, let me play this. And he gives candy to his dad, but listen to what she says about what the Palestinians do to their children. So let's go ahead and play this. Where am I? Right there.
אז התחברתי אליו בקטע חברי. התחיל באיזשהו שלב לדבר איתי על הבעיות שלו עם אשתו. כמו מה למשל הוא אמר לך? שהוא לא...
You know what? Turn off your stop and turn off your CC, because they're doing it closed captioning, and we're not able to see the turn off the CC.
Right. Let me try that. Okay, let's.
חשבתי שיקרה איזה משהו פתאום. אז התחברתי אליו בקטע חברי. התחיל באיזשהו שלב לדבר איתי על הבעיות שלו עם אשתו. כמו מה למשל הוא אמר לך? שהוא לא אוהב אותה.
She just burned him bad. Stop it. I just want to go over that.
Okay, now watch this. Now watch what they say here.
פגשתי את הילדים שלו, כאילו, אתם היו נכנסים מדי פעם לחדר, להסתכל עליי, כאילו אני זה חיה.
Like a zoo animal.
שמדפים אותה.
Good Lord.
הייתה איזה פעם אחת שהילד שלו נכנס לחדר, עם שקית ממתקים, מביא לאבא כזה, פותח את השקית וזה, בא לידי, פותח את השקית, סוגר אותה, והולך. כאילו, אתה יודע, רוע, טהור. אין שם אזרחים תמימים. זה משפחות תחת החמאס. זה ילדים שמהרגע שהם יוצאים לאוויר העולם, מחנכים אותם שישראל זה פלסטין, פשוט לשנוא.
Okay, so the point I was trying to make is that she realizes that they train their kids. This is what they have done. This is where you have an entire generation has grown up in Gaza being trained to hate Israelis, to hate not just Israelis, but to hate Jews themselves. And this is just one instance that she's using here to show how this any way that they can hurt her or hurt an Israeli, they do. And it's just, something as simple as, you could offer somebody just, something as simple as a piece of candy, and you don't. And she realizes, and she knows, this is what the Israelis know, and a lot of people refuse to admit, that these people that are in the Gaza and these people that are in the West Bank are trained from the time that they can even talk. And we've shown several videos on this show of what these kids have to say when they are left to their own devices about Jews. They want to grow up to kill Jews. They want to grow up to take a knife and stab Jews. They want to grow up to take a gun and shoot Jews. They want to grow up to take a car and run over Jews. This is what they've said in these video clips. And this is what hate does. This is what hate produces. And so when you have people today, and this is what's becoming this next kind of narrative that I'm going to go into, We are witnessing today.
Uh-oh. Did he freeze?
Yes,
Eric,
he
you
did.
there?
Hello, Eric.
Oh boy. Looks like I didn't fix his computer. All right. More work needs to be done. Okay. But my tongue definitely sounds very. I'm allowed to say it. Oh, Eric's back. Hold on. Let me kick him out. Let me add him back. Welcome back, Eric. Welcome back to your show, Eric.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
So the computer didn't crash then?
No, it didn't. The Chrome crashed.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know why. I'm sorry. This is why I'm probably going to be getting a new machine here.
All right. Well,
Sooner
you
rather
can
than
give
later.
me your old one then, because I'll take it. But anyway,
Sure. You can
sure.
use this. Go ahead. I don't care.
Sure. But,
Okay, so
well, I just want to respond because while you're out here to some of the comments in the chat. So Nicodemus, she had Stockholm syndrome. Actually, no. Okay, so as Eric can probably testify, this is standard training. If you get taken captive by anyone, you are to relate to your captors. You are trying to make.
no. Well, Rad, actually, hold on. I think he's suggesting the Stockholm syndrome was probably from where she said she ingratiated, not just the what happened with the kid or what happened after she left. I think he's referring to the fact that while she was in there, she was using whatever she could in order to survive, if that makes sense.
Right. Well, no, that's what you do.
So I don't.
You are.
Yeah.
No, Stockholm
Yeah, so
syndrome is where you believe that your captors are doing a righteous thing, and even though they just murdered some of your fellow friends and compatriots, that that they're actually good people. No, she was actually no. So seriously, if you are ever abducted or taken captive, you are to do your best not to piss off your captors and do your best to relate to them in some way, to make yourself seem human to them. So that way you're not just something bound and gagged with the hood over your face where they can just put bullets in you at any time because you're just like a bag of flour. You know what I mean? Or just a bag of laundry just sitting there in the corner. Okay? So no, but if you notice what she did though, she played that dude dirty. Because remember, this is being aired on Israeli TV as well as Palestine. The Palestinians are watching this. Okay? They have access to this. So if this dude and his wife are still alive, his wife just watched her say, this woman that she totally completely hated because she's probably more attractive, even with the busted up, shot up arm and not showered for 50 something days, is still much better looking and probably smells a lot better than his wife in Palestine. And this abductor is.
Yeah, that was the key thing that she said, that she did say that she hadn't bathed she did not bathe the entire time she was there. And one of the things that she liked to do, I mean, this is what she does. I mean, she's I know she's a tattoo artist and a cook. So the two things that she likes to do, and they have videos of her trying to cook with just one arm because she does not have full use of her right arm yet. So I like Villa.
Well, no,
look at Villa's comment here. Look at.
Yeah, well, that's what she should have done. She should have poisoned him, but she probably didn't have access to poison. But no, make yourself useful to them. In any way you can. Yes, if you cook for them, cook for them. Anyway, but listen to what she says. She says, "Yes, I know this. He does not love his wife."
Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah. So, and the wife is probably watching that, but who cares?
So that just causes all kinds of grief, dude.
Yeah, but the perception or probably the feelings of the perspective of the husband is like, well, who cares? I don't care if she loves me or not, or I don't care if she knows that I don't love her or not. She's still my wife. She's going to do what I tell her to do. Yeah. How Albanian Muslims got to his cat? What is this? To go to the border with the intent of robbing and killing him. Come on.
All right. Well, we got to wait for the second part. Here we go.
Malicious intent.
Malicious intent. So he befriended them, and they ended up liking him so much that they admitted to him that they were going to do, but instead they let him go. Yeah, you want to ingratiate yourself to your captors. You really do.
And that's what she
Don't
did.
be-
But when we look at how young that girl is, I don't know how old. Does anybody know? Can anybody look up real
She's in her
quick?
20s. No, I think she's
Is she?
27. Yeah,
Is she really that old?
Yeah. Yeah, she's mid 20s, I think.
Let me look this up. Age 21. Oh, she is 21.
Oh, she's 21? Oh, I thought
Yeah,
she
it
was
says
older.
21. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe the test they make
21.
her look older. Maybe she got shot in the arm. They blew her arm off.
You're right. Yeah, it was
So-
almost completely off her body. I don't know how you survived, for 3 days, because she said she had the first 3 days, she just had to sit there and hold her arm onto her body, just the pain.
And she's
if you see people,
thing.
right. If you see people, because, Hollywood doesn't do it right, because you see somebody with a gunshot wound, or, like a shrapnel wound that, they've gone for days without it being treated. You can barely move. I mean, it's this isn't like, like they do in Hollywood. Half your guts hanging out. I can take it like a man. No, you can't. Your body, that much pain is going to cause you to pass out. I don't know how she did. She's a brave young woman, and God bless her for that. But I wanted to use that as kind of an illustration of, what they're doing to their kids over there, and how difficult this is, for the Israelis. What do you do with these people? And so when we have people here in the West constantly promoting this cause, from the rivers to the sea, Palestine will be free, it's sickening. But now they're getting more emboldened. And here I got a couple clips here of imams in mosque here in the West, here in the United States and in Canada, running their mouths about what their intents are and what side of this struggle they're on. Let's go ahead and play this one first. Let's see here. Oh, of course, an error has occurred, and the reason why the error has occurred is because
you have you can't. No, that one and those you have to upload just before you play them.
Right, you're right. Steaks.
America is the one fighting Palestinian, not Israelis. As one Israeli scholar, he said, Israel is not a state. It is a project. Israel is a project.
Okay, notice now. Look what this joker is doing. Israel is. He says one Israeli scholar said Israel is a project, so therefore the entire country of Israel doesn't consider itself a state or a country. They consider themselves a project. This is what liars do. And then look what he says right here. Look what he goes on to say. Look at that.
Of all those Christians, the Crusaders.
Oh, here we go. The Crusaders, like the Arabs or the Muslims didn't deserve it, but those Crusaders, those evil Crusaders, here they come. They failed because why? Islam is superior. No, they failed because they couldn't continue to fight a war 1,000 miles away from their homeland.
The Wasp. They failed. So they use all this because, preparing for the last war, for the return of Jesus. So Israel is a project, is not a state. That is the word of the Israelis themselves.
They're scholars, one scholar, but this is all Israelis as far as this guy's concerned. What an idiot.
Well, wait. United States of America is an experiment, remember?
I've heard that before. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, sure.
Oh, so
there you go.
Therefore, it's not a real country.
Listen,
Yeah.
we don't prepare ourselves. That's why Allah had chosen Gaza to manufacture men for the men to take.
Hold on, go back there.
Allah
Gaza
had chosen Gaza to manufacture men.
To manufacture men. Men.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Men. No. Cowards. Sissies. Little No. People who are less than human do these type of things to other human beings. cutting the heads off of babies, sticking them in ovens, tying a woman, binding a woman to her child and burning them alive, indiscriminately shooting people, running away from you. You're going to call that manhood? What kind of coward does that? Oh, this coward right here. Let's listen to what else he said.
But the coward that uses the child as a shield. That's
exactly.
That's what these guys are.
Yeah. That's a man, don't you see? A man who goes and kills people, and then when those people come looking for him, he hides behind his own wives and children that he had just killed. That's not a man. That's not a soldier. That is a coward.
For the men to take over and to show the world who are.
They've shown the world who they are. They've showed them for being the sissies, the cowards, the savages, the brutish, inhumane pieces of garbage that they are. And if you are going to advance a cause, a Muslim cause, let's face it, this isn't, this has nothing, again, I want to say it again, this has nothing to do with land for land. Because if it had something to do with land, this issue would have been solved in 1947. This issue would have been solved in 1967. This issue would have been solved in 1973. This issue would have been solved in 1992. This issue would have been solved most certainly with these pieces of garbage in 2005. They were given their land. Complete autonomy. Do what you want. It's yours. We're out. Peace. We're done. And what did they do? They created a terrorist state, a state where they've used just about every single dime that has been provided to them by the UN, by the worldwide community, that every single dime provide almost every, not everyone, but almost every single one, to create this labyrinth of terror and horror to kill Jews. This is what hatred does. And you're talking about, well, we just want our land back. What do you think is going to happen if they are allowed to go back into Israel and take their land back? Their land, it's not their land. It was land that was probably the great-grandfathers of the great. It has nothing, they have no claim to it anymore. Legally. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Do you think that they're going to get along? Do you think that they're going to freely integrate into Israeli society? Do you think that for a second that these people are going to treat Israelis, Jews, as equals? Do you think that they're not going to continue and more often, almost on a daily basis, attack Jewish children as they're walking down sidewalks to their schools? That's what this is what's being preached in our mosques today. I got more. Trust me. More's coming. Here it is. Here, let's listen to it a little bit more. He's almost done.
Inshallah, as Allah said, "Ala inna nasrallahi qarib."
No, it's not.
We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for, speedy, victory and perfect victory to our brothers and sisters in Gaza.
Yeah, let's pray that Allah is a false god. Oh, that's not hard to do because he is a false god. I got another one here. Let's look at this one in California. Here we have one in California. Of course, I'm going to have to. I'm sorry, I shouldn't get so exercised on the show. I should calm down. It's all right. Catherine, don't.
Well, wait. So I want to comment on some of this. What he said. So Gaza is a place where they make men. Okay. I actually do have to give it up to Hamas. Like I said, when you first shared the attack information with me, I was like, damn, they really stepped up their game. They're attacking all these outposts. They made a major incursion. You know what I mean? They showed unit cohesion and collaboration, and they breached at 60-something points, okay, of this border wall, and they overwhelmed, okay, the security system. Right? I'm like, that's pretty good. And I saw some of the videos, and they had dudes on like full cruisers, total dressers, riding in the desert, crossing the border. I'm like, dude, that actually takes skill. I'm just saying. But didn't know about the mass murder and the killing of all the women and children and the kibbutz stuff. Yeah, okay, so that kind of tainted it. But here's the thing. Poland says that they've taken 0 Muslims in Poland. Zero terrorist attack. Duh.
You know, I have there's a joke. Oh, I got a good Polish joke. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what a Polish minesweeper looks like? A Polish minesweeper.
Yeah, I don't get it. You must have had to have served in like the U.S. Army.
Come on, they don't want to blow up, so they're out there stomping around looking for the landmine.
Oh, okay.
Did anybody in chat get that one? Come on.
I got it.
Thank you, Paul. Somebody got
All right.
Like one of my
Yeah,
dad jokes.
I'm sorry. I'm not an airborne ranger kind of dude. Super duper badass trooper. Positively have to kill everyone in the room. Anyway, but no. But getting back to this, because you interrupted me with that horrible joke. Okay.
That's a pretty good joke.
No,
nobody in chat said that they liked it, so I'm guessing it probably wasn't.
Yeah. So okay. I just got done watching this documentary. It was really good on the Eisengruppen. Okay, from their diaries and their memoirs. Okay, all right. And it actually it was really cool because they tied it in with the prosecutors and also with psychologists. And they showed that how you get this group think, you want to conform, blah 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 blah. Right? Okay, but most of these diary entries, when they first started doing the killing, they were sick to their stomachs. They got drunk. Okay? I mean, no, seriously. One guy wrote, so the extra ration of booze settled our stomachs. Another guy wrote that, after he could fire 4 or 5 times, and he went to 4 or 5 of these mass killings, and then after that he couldn't shoot no more. He just could not do it. And they some of them were relieved and sent to other places. Others, they were belittled and shamed and told to get up and do it again, and they either later killed themselves or just became drunks or whatever. Okay? But none of them wrote home to their moms and dads and said, "Mom, Dad, I just killed 100 Jews today. This is a glorious thing." None of them took photographs and pictures, although videos were made at first, okay, by the townspeople, because they would get the townspeople to come out and watch and participate in Lithuania and in parts of Ukraine, because they hated Jews, evidently, in Ukraine. Go figure. Anyway.
So, it was a Bobby R.
Yeah. Okay. So they would get people to watch this, and yes, they would film it. But as soon as a lot of those films were definitely destroyed, but a lot of them, that we have now to this day. But I'm just saying, nobody in their right mind would sit there and call their parents or write their parents and tell them about this horrible thing that they have done. Okay? As a matter of fact, Goebbels, after the Western in the Potsdam Posen conference, and it was Posen, after the Western conference, Goebbels said, "We will never talk of this ever. But this is the one thing that the glorious Reich in its 1,000 years nobody will ever know what we're doing here. But we will never talk about it." And here these dudes are making no, this is when they say that this is the worst Holocaust since Nazi Germany, they're not making this up. Yeah. No, this was far worse. Because if this is allowed to continue, you're going to have worse than what you had under Nazi Germany. Okay? I mean,
when you have people going out in the streets and supporting this, having rallies supporting Hamas, this is what you get. I mean, this is going to get. It's going to get not just what it's going to get exponentially worse. When you're allowed to isolate a people group, just like they're doing here, what do you guys think happened in 1939, for crying out loud? Do you think this all happened, in a vacuum? Do you think that this is just some type of accident that, all of a sudden the Nazis said, let's just hate them Jewish people? No. And when Rad talks about the Eisengruppen, these people, this is why they had to come up with a different method in which to mass execute Jewish people. This is where they started coming up with gas vans. This is where they started coming up with gas chambers. Is because this killing of people, shooting of people in pits drove people insane. They had all kinds of abhorrent behavior. They were suicidal. They were going out committing all kinds of crime, violent crimes. They were antisocials. They turned into drug abusers. They turned into habitual alcoholics. The human mind is not wired. Yeah, you're right. It ruined it. It's not wired to go out and kill other human beings. It's not wired to do that. There has to be a mechanism in which you create in order to turn that off.
It ruined brave, young, 18, 19-year-old German soldiers. Totally, completely ruined them. They were useless as fighters after that, because that's the only thing they could do. No, it really did. Seriously, you can't do that. But evidently in Hamas and Gazastan, see, this is why I say Israel needs to adopt the Roman model and treat Gaza like Carthage. Enough.
I'm muting you. Okay, there we go. He can unmute himself. Okay. All right, let's go.
Wait, you should have done this one. Hold on.
Okay.
That's the rad. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and
probably should do that more often with me. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that way. All right. Let's go ahead and play. Sorry.
Whatever is happening nowadays in Palestine is not something that is new or just recent. This is the children of Israel have a long history of cowardice and a long history of wickedness and a long history of murder and occupation.
Okay, this long history, let's see, of cowardice, like going in and indiscriminately shooting women and children and families as they come out of their homes, or going into the homes and shooting them while they're in their bed, tying them together and burning them to death, or taking babies and putting them in ovens and turning it on and cooking them to death, or cutting babies out of the womb of women while they're still alive, or raping women wholesale everywhere that they possibly are. Is that the type of cowardice that he's talking about? What else did he say here? He said something about a long history of murder and occupation. Occupation, you mean like occupying the land for, I don't know, 3,000 years? Is that what you're talking about? A continuous occupation for 3,000 years? Is that what he's talking about? What's the other one of murder? Well, the murder, when we talk about Ed Van Halen, when he's here, he sent me a paper and it documents. Can't spread Islam to the world of Islamic nations except right. Ed documents that there has been over 500 million. Think about that number, folks. That's 500 million. Over 500 million people that have been killed. That's murdered in the name of Islam in the last 1,400 years. 500 million. So when this joker starts talking about murder, occupation, and things of this nature, it's just. But this is being taught to young Muslim brains here in the United States today.
Murder.
This is in California, by the way.
And occupation and all kinds of things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has punished them for.
Like turning them into pigs and apes. That's believable. Thanks, Muhammad.
How come Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose those Palestinian Muslims to be closer to him?
I think it was Satan, not Allah.
What have we done wrong to be so far from Allah?
To believe that a pedophile could actually be a prophet.
What have we done wrong to not be martyrs for the sake of Allah?
You did not buy a plane ticket and take yourself there to Gaza yourself, you coward. If you feel so strongly about it, get on a plane, pick up a gun, and go.
What have we done wrong to not be blessed like the people in Palestine have been blessed?
Because you live a fat, comfortable life sitting in California. That's why.
What have we done wrong for our mothers?
No comment.
To not be like the mothers of the martyrs in Palestine. What have we done wrong for our men not to be among those resisting in Palestine?
We have educated them, taught them to read and write, and taught the difference between right and wrong. I don't know, something like that.
What have we done wrong for us not to be chosen for that perfect picture that the Palestinians have drawn today.
Okay, so the perfect picture that this clown is talking about is what? What is the perfect picture that this clown is talking about? This clown is talking about, okay, what this guy is advocating is another Holocaust. That is the perfect picture that this guy is advocating. Let's not make any mistake about this. This has nothing to do with land. Well, it does have something to do with land. It has everything to do with land that no longer is in the possession of Jews, land that is no longer controlled by Jews, a land that Jews no longer allowed to live in. That's what it has to. If you want to talk about land, that's what it's about. If Gaza was, if this was about land, if this was strictly about land, the Arabs would have agreed at some point during this history, to allow the Jews to live in parts of it. But they can't even allow the idea of Jews living in parts of it. They were offered, I don't know how many different examples we can show where the British, when the British had control of Palestine, the Transjordan, that they were offered huge swaths of land compared to just little tiny chunks of what the Jews were supposed to get. The Jews were supposed to get like even smaller pieces than they have today. But every single time it was offered, the Jews said, yes, we'll take it. And the Arabs, Muslims, said no. And they did this because they cannot tolerate the idea of living alongside peaceably with anybody other than Muslims. If Christians were to go on that land, I can guarantee you that they would not be able to live peaceably with them. Look what happens to Christians in less radical, more liberal countries like Egypt. We've had our buddy John Isaac on here, who is a native Egyptian, tell us several times what life for Christians is like in Egypt. We've had our brother Adam Seeker on here several times, and he has discussed and told us what life is like with people in Pakistan, living with Muslims, and Christian life is when they have to live with Muslims in Pakistan. And to think that for a second the Jews would be able to live freely, safely, in prosperity if they were to say, okay, this land, this house, that, number one, there's no way to prove that they owned the land to begin with. That's number one. But number two, if they were to allow that, there's no way that they would be allowed to live in peace. They would be killed. And let's just face it, this is exactly what happened. So when we have guys like this, hold on just a second, Brad. So when you have guys like this preaching how evil Israel is, what he's basically saying is that we cannot tolerate anybody that is not a Muslim living in that land. And what do you think is going to happen if this is allowed? The Jews are allowed to be pushed out of that land. Do you think that they're going to stop right there? Do you think for a second that is going to stop? You are a fool if you do. This is Islamic supremacism. This is religious supremacy for everybody to see on display. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's not so much living side by side. It's that they cannot live ruled by Jews. It is an insult to Islam for a Muslim population to be ruled by Jews. They actually say this. Okay, now they will have no problem ruling over Jews and having a limited Jews live in their country of Palestine, if there ever was or will ever be such a thing. But it will be under their rules and under their apartheid.
Do you think Jews would be able to live peaceably in Israel if it was under Muslim rule?
Well, it depends what you mean by peaceful. If you mean peacefully, like they're not, executing them in the streets like every day, then yeah, I would say so. Or do you mean peaceable as in, they're second-class citizens? They can't vote. They can't drive in their own highways or have their own, they have to have special laws to build a synagogue, that sort of thing. Then yes, they probably could to a limited extent. Okay, but their population would be controlled there would be riots at any time. In other words, Muslims would just come in and kidnap Jewish girls because they need their sex slaves or wives or whatever. Okay, just like what we have in Egypt with Christians. Okay, but yeah, but no, there would be a high tension there. There would be, but it
Well,
would not be.
I disagree. There's no way. There's no way that they would live with Jews. They don't do it
Well,
anywhere else on the planet. There's no way that they would be allowed to. They would allow Jews, especially in Israel. Now there might be small pockets of Jews in Egypt. There's a UN video. I'm going to bring that up. There's a UN video where the Israeli ambassador asked the UN, "Where are your Jews?" And he goes around the room because they're all condemning Israel over one of their many different not sanctions. That's not the word I'm looking for. Resolutions. There we go. And he says, "Well, hold on a second. Let's just go around the room here, and you tell me, where are your Jews?" Let's see here. I don't see it. I'll look for it. I'll look for it later, but I don't see it right now. But it was in a UN. It was in a UN meeting where he is. Where are your Jews? Israeli ambassador asks UN. Asks UN. I forgot to put UN. Sorry, that's probably why it didn't come up. So, where was UN? Where was UN? No. Ambassador Advanced UN Chief. No, come on. No, come on.
All right. Well, Eric looks for that video. But just to continue on, really quickly here. So I am disagreeing with Eric on this because no, Muslims will allow Jews to live in their land. Okay, like for instance, Iran still has a strong population of Jews. By law, they can hold 2 seats in their mock Congress. Okay. But they have no voting rights. Okay, they can vote on certain things, but they can't vote on most important things. I think they have 1 or 2 seats. I forget. But no, they can live. But again, it is under a second-class citizenship. It is under a dehimitu. It is under a it's you don't want to be there because at any time, violence can just erupt and they can do a program on you. And you can't live. You have to live in certain quarters, okay, of a city or a country. You can't live outside of this. Basically, you're ghettoized, okay. You have to live in a certain region of a city, etc. But I think Eric has found what we wanted. So here we go. I'm gonna turn it back to you, Eric.
Once upon a time, the Middle East was full of Jews. Algeria had 140,000 Jews. Algeria, where are your Jews? Egypt used to have 75,000 Jews. Where are your Jews? Syria, you had tens of thousands of Jews. Where are your Jews? Iraq, you had over 135,000 Jews. Where are your Jews? Mr. President, why are we meeting today on an agenda item singling out only one state, the Jewish state, for targeting? Where is the apartheid, Mr. President?
Okay, so he's basically he's slamming the UN and their hypocrisy for these other countries because they don't have any Jews anymore. Once where they had thousands, hundreds of thousands of Jews, they no longer live there. And the reason why is that they were exiled when the state of Israel was formed. And I've said this several times, the Jewish family that my wife and I stayed with while we were in Israel, we stayed with them 4 days, 4 days, I think. And they were the grandparents, let me just say this. The son and the daughter right now are in the IDF. So and the daughter she was in 8th grade. What would have been 8th grade? She was 14 at the time I was over there. Just an absolute angel of a young lady. But the grandparents, the family, the mom and the dad, their parents came from Morocco. They were Moroccan Jews. They were exiled from Morocco with the clothes on their back. They were not allowed to take any of their possessions with them. They were exiled. This is what happens in Muslim majority countries today. If you are a Jew, you are exiled. You are not treated. And if you are staying, you're exactly right. When you hit on dehimitude, you're made a dhimmi. You're made a second class citizen. You can't have any rights that is extended to Muslims. You can't testify in court. You can't. We've been through the Pack of Umar 100 times discussing what it's like to be a dhimmi. So yeah, that's what it would be like there. Here is a lady. Here is a quote unquote lady screaming her head off in England. I think it might be. I might be wrong on this. Talking about what they mean by Palestine being free. Here we go.
All of Palestine to be free. That's what we mean from the river to the sea. We don't mince words. It means every single inch. It means we go back to our homes in Haifa, Jaffa, Akka, and all of Palestine. 48 lands, the West Bank, Gaza.
Are you confused yet of what they mean by all of Palestine being free? I'm trying to see where this is. This is in the United States. She had an American accent, so this wasn't in England. I thought it was in England, but this is in the United States. This is happening in the United States. Okay, here I have a Florida imam. Let me see here. A Florida imam. Here's what he says about Sharia. Let's go ahead and play his nuggets of truth, quote unquote. Let's see here. Here we go. Here we are. Bada bing, bada boom.
When we say Gaza has revived the heart of the Ummah, we're not exaggerating. But we need to keep that mindset. We need also to understand time for us to start believing in Allah, believing in Allah's words about these people. They will never, ever fulfill their agreement with you. They did it with Muhammad. Before that, they did it with Musa. They did it with Isa, and they did it with Muhammad. And they.
Who does he think Moses was? I mean,
who was Isa? Who was Isa and Musa? They're both Jews.
They're both Jews, right? Yeah. So So they never had an agreement with the Jews. Yeah. This is absolutely
been doing
idiot.
It with the Ummah since then and until then. My major warning to myself and to everybody is we go back to prior of October 7. Isn't this October 7 bugged our heads with October 7, October 7? That we go back to what happened before October 7.
Like a ceasefire with Israel. Can't have that. No.
To think that we can trust these people.
Who broke the ceasefire? The Jews? The Jews? No. Every ceasefire that has been reached with Hamas has been broken by Hamas. And we can't trust these guys? Really?
To think that these people will not do it again. To think that these people are going to leave our land. To think that
it's not your land.
These people are not oppressive. To think that
oppressive? They gave them full autonomy in Gaza, and yet they're oppressed. Shut up.
We as Muslims need to keep our mind and our eyes toward the prize.
All the Jews dead. What's he going to say? What is the prize here? What's the prize?
As I always say.
As I always say. Yeah, he sounds like the
Toward
Godfather.
the prize.
What is the prize? Tell me.
From the river.
To the sea. There you go.
From the river to the sea. And not even from the sea I'm talking about. A lot of people think from water to water, from the river to the sea. We want the whole Muslim world free, not only Palestine.
Did you guys hear that?
I have a question. What about Bethlehem? What about Bethlehem and Galilee? Are you going to give that to the Christians? Because that's Christian. That's value to the Christian people. And you have Palestinian Christians. Are you going to give that land to them? I don't think so.
Do you think? Let me ask you this, Isa. Do you think for a second that if the Muslims were given this right, this so-called, which I don't think it's true, but let's just pretend and live in this fake little world that we've been wrapped up into. Do you think for a second that if there was a right of return, meaning that all the Muslims in the Gaza, all the Muslims in the West Bank could have full Israeli citizenship, and then they would have an election, and then you would have a majority Muslim country. Do you think that for a second that Muslim majority country would respect the rights of the Israeli citizens themselves?
I think it would be very complex because there's multiple Muslim identities. I think that the Salafis and the Wahhabis will get the power. That's usually the people who gain the power. So there will be other Muslims who are minorities, like Sufi Muslims and Shia Muslims, and
they're not going to get. They're not.
Muslims.
They're not getting
no
power. They're not getting no power. They have it nowhere else in the world. They're not going to get it here.
They're not going to get power. And the point is, I think everyone is going to be oppressed under Salafi. We've seen it. Look what's going on in Pakistan. There's a battle there between the kind of the Muslim minorities who are mystics and the Wahhabis. The Wahhabis have power. That's why Asia Bibi, the Christian woman who said, "Hey, I believe in Lord Jesus," they wanted to kill her because the Wahhabis are in power, and it's hard to defeat the Wahhabis because the Wahhabis will kill. They're fine with it, and they use this kind of rhetoric. They say, "Oh, we're victims," and I'm like, when you're in power, you're not a victim anymore. And this guy won't tell you the truth about Pakistan. He won't tell you about Egypt, what happens to minorities in Egypt. He won't tell you about any of these other problematic spaces, but he'll tell you, wow, look how terrible Israel is. I said, fix your own problems, sir. Sahib, fix your problems before you tell us about any issues that are going on in Israel. I don't want to hear about Israel and Palestine until you fix your own problems, because you'll never hear a person come and say, I would love if someone was in that masjid and said to him, hey, buddy, want to tell me about Pakistan, about how the minorities are treated there? You want to talk about all these like Arab nations, how people are treated? Do you want to talk about that? Oh, no, you don't. That's interesting.
Right. No, it's because they're hypocrites. And the faith system itself forces them into a standard of hypocrisy itself. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up this, what this guy had to say here.
We want Egypt free. We want Jordan free. We want Syria free. We want Morocco free. We want Pakistan free.
Oh, there you
we
go,
want
Lisa.
Bangladesh free. We want Dagestan free. We want Chechnya free. We want every Muslim lands, Malaysia, Indonesia, all these lands, Saudi Arabia and the Gulf, all these lands must be freed and back to the deen of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the real freedom. Abdullah, the real freedom for a Muslim is when the shar' of Allah is established the way Allah Azza wa Jal wants. And that is not only freedom for us Muslims, but that is freedom for mankind.
Not for me, not for us.
No, and that's the problem right there. It's for mankind. It's not for us. It's for the Muslim.
That's not for anybody.
All these Muslims land, they want to be free. But aren't they controlled by Muslims? No. So now we need the Sharia because that is freedom. But again, they can't agree on what is the Sharia. When has the Sharia ever been
100%. 100%.
Oh, I mean, seriously, they're selling socialist, communist, utopian dream. 1984. No matter what, there will always be some. You know what I mean? It's the constant.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
Constant struggle. Anyway, yeah, this.
They want a khulafa. They want a caliph. I said, what kind of caliph? You're gonna have al-Baghdadi? You think most of the world is gonna follow that crazy nutcase? No. Like Hizb ut-Tahrir, they're all like, we're gonna have a caliph, and all the Muslims will get in line. I'm like, that's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen, and we don't want it.
Even when they had the caliphs, they had dueling caliphs. They were constantly always in battle with each other. There was constant civil war. As a matter of fact, here's a fun fact in history. The Ottoman Empire spent more time putting down rebellions in Muslim countries by Muslims than he did fighting the kuffar. Seriously, that was most of the time that the Ottoman Empire, that's mostly what they did. They had to keep putting down constant rebellions in various parts of their Muslim domain that were done by various Muslims because everybody wants to be the caliph. You know what I mean? No, there was never a peaceful transition of power. One dynasty wiped out another dynasty. No, there never was. There were times when there were 3 caliphs. You had the Fatimas. You know what I mean? No, there were different caliphs in different parts of what they call the Muslim Empire. These people never
That's
had
100% right.
Well, and this is what
That's right.
they're trying to reach today. This is just the repression of any type of rights of anybody that's not a Muslim. You know, if you think that for a second, and this is the point that I keep bringing up, if you think for a second that if these clowns ever get into any type of power, whether it's in Israel, and this is where Israel's like the canary in the mine shaft here. You know, if Israel goes, it's going to be like a domino effect. Do you think that they're not going to be emboldened? Oh, we just took down Israel. Okay, now let's go get Al-Andalus. They're going to go to Spain and try to retake, the Spain. It's going to happen. And until you shut this down and you start shutting clowns like this down and their rhetoric, a lot of us are, really surprised. Well, maybe not. Many of us that watch the show aren't surprised to see the rhetoric coming out of these people's pie holes. But if you were to try to play this on national TV, people would be appalled. They'd be like, "What do you mean? Whoa, wait a second! You guys really believe that? You guys really think that?" Here's a good case in point right here. Let me show this female. Let me just put it that way.
It bothers me, and I'm going to say it. I see this message even from the Israel supporters. Yeah, the situation in Gaza is awful. Our hearts breaks too for the children of Gaza. Let me tell you the truth. The situation in Gaza is not awful. This is us pampering Gaza. What is happening in Gaza right now is Israel doing them a favor. And before you, the Israeli supporters who feel the need to apologize for what is happening in Gaza and show the world that, no, we care about the Palestinians too, just ask the Palestinian supporters if they feel sorry for us for what they did on October 7th. You should look carefully because there are only 13% who are against what happened in Israel. Actually, it's not going to be so hard.
Did you hear that number? What percentage of Palestinians are against what happened to the Israelis?
13%.
This lady, 13%.
That's nothing.
Just go to southern of Gaza, where the IDF told them to go so they will not get hurt in the war. Those innocent Palestinians and their children broke into Israel with Hamas and helped them murder, torture, behead, rape, steal, and kidnap people. You need to wake up. Hamas are the Palestinians, and the Palestinians. It bothers me, and I'm going to say it. See this message even from the Israeli
you mind if I say something about this? This is so sad because I was just there. I was in Israel recently. Remember, we were talking, and every Israeli told me that it's not the Palestinians, it's just Hamas. And what this situation has done has created so much trauma in the space that any type of healing of dialogue between Palestinians and Israelis, it's going to be very hard. And I understand where this woman is coming from, because it's like every single moment Israelis have been trying to say, hey, we see Palestinians, we care about Palestinians, it's Hamas that's wrong. And, it's difficult. It's going to be very, very difficult to find any peace now.
It's not difficult. It's impossible. I know you hate that word, Isa.
I know I do.
Yeah, it's impossible. Well, it's impossible when you cannot negotiate with people. 87, that's 13%. 13%. Come on. You cannot negotiate with the people or deal civilly with a group of people where 87% of them think that's okay for their brothers and themselves to go out and kill you. You can't, and it's not a political. This is a religiously driven ideology. This is all about religion. This has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with land, and it's a religious charge for them to go out and kill Jews. So if they feel that they have a justification now, and whether they're using land, if they're using some perceived offense or some perceived aggression towards them, they're going to do it. Look what Saddam Hussein did. His perceived against Kuwait. They're drilling under my land So what does he do? He goes in and kills them. I mean, he slaughters, half the nation of Kuwait and destroys the whole thing. They will use any type of offense, any type of provocation that they possibly can, even if it's especially if it's contrived, more often than not, to attack you. And this is what they do. They'll use any justification that they can to do it, and that's what they do.
Well, I hate to defend Saddam Hussein, but no, they were slant drilling, they were stealing his oil. So yeah, he had a right to go and invade. I'm just saying
he did not have a right to go in and slaughter.
They were robbing him. They were robbing him of his oil.
But it doesn't matter. You shouldn't kill them. I agree with Eric on that. Even if they did steal stuff, you can't kill people for stealing your stuff. You know what I mean? And Saddam Hussein was a despot. Saddam Hussein was a despot.
Okay, well, this is how he. Hold on. Let's frame it like Saddam Hussein framed it. They're stealing from the women and the children of Iraq. Not from me.
He was stealing from the women and children of Iraq.
That's the biggest hypocrite in the world.
Way, no, there's more complicated than that. Don't make me defend Saddam Hussein, but I will defend Saddam Hussein because he was our dictator. And by removing him, like what happened, we got Iran, who's now in control of the region, and we got all this crap. But anyway, let's not go there because we're running out of time. I did want to comment on this whole thing. It is generational. Okay, Issa, you remember you played that old video of Darfur? Remember?
Darfur,
Darfur? Darfur, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure most of you listening to the show do know, Darfur was the Palestinian Mickey Mouse. Yeah, he was a lovable character.
Hamas,
yeah, Hamas.
Mickey Mouse. You're right.
Version of Mickey Mouse. I think Disney actually sued them, didn't they? And they were infringing on their copyright, and Hamas said, "Screw you. We're not doing that." Anyway, but no. So under intense pressure, from the world, because this is all being funded by the UN. All the Darfur or whatever, all their commercials or their TV shows, that was all being funded by the UN. And finally, no, you got to get rid of Darfur. So they killed Darfur in 2007, wasn't it? Issa, was it 2007?
That's correct.
Anyway,
that's correct.
Yeah. So do the math. Let's say the last child to watch Darfur die was probably 6 or 7 years old in 2007. How old are they now? They're at prime fighting age for Hamas. So in other words, the indoctrination that happened to them at 6, 7 years old carried over for 2 generations where they're now in their 20s. Do you see what I'm saying? And they're now the ones doing the killing. So this is generational. And I don't know, it's going to take generations to do with this. That's why, I honestly say that the Israelis need to treat just like the Romans treated Carthage. And another thing, I also think
you're silly.
I'm not doing. He's doing that on purpose. He's doing that on purpose. Okay, let's only play one more clip, because I got to get out of here. When we start talking about religious supremacism, and we're talking about it coming in and permeating into the West, and asserting yourself as a body of believers, and we're going to have it our way. This is a great video illustrating that. And there's nothing you can do about it. Just take it.
فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون.
Okay, so if they're doing this while I'm getting on a train, I am standing right here. Can you guys see the mouse there on the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's where I'm standing.
But it's
I'm
funny
going to
that
stand right there. How dare you interrupt everybody else's travel? How dare you interrupt everybody else's day because you think you have to pray? Paul was going through this on his show on Thursday, and the one where my computer crashed 3 times. But he's showing how there are all kinds of exceptions in the Sharia that provide you where you can pray 2 prayers at a time, or you can pray at alternate. This is nothing but Islamic supremacism and an attempt to dominate the West. Go ahead, Isa.
I would say this is like a worship of Palestine too. Do you notice that they're praying on Palestinian flags? Now,
oh yeah, good call. Yeah.
Whatever you feel about Islam, you can say, Islam has problems and stuff like that. I think there's no way it's a thing that we can definitely engage in. There's a lot of issues, but this element is not like ancient Islam. This is an innovation. So the Wahhabis and Salafis, this worship of nationalism is new. It's a fusion into the traditional Islamic culture, where they're fusing the politics with the Islam. And this is a new manifestation of Islamic tradition where they're worshiping Palestine. I mean, it's insane. I see so many people with Palestinian flags and I'm like, dude, like, even if you go to the sources, because that's the thing we do on this channel all the time, right? Going to the sources, you can't worship a nation state, but they're doing it. The nation state is an idol, They're worshiping this nation state as God. Like, it's very insane. You know what I mean?
Hey, okay, let me, and I see what you're saying. I don't know if it's worshiping Palestine, but I think it's using them as a holy cause, a just war, a holy war, turning it into a holy conflict by using them as such. I got one more picture to show you.
The flags, all of it. It's like, it's so deep. Like, it's
theater.
another level. It's another level. You know what I mean? It's like worship. Like, sometimes we in America do that too, where we worship America. We're like, America's the greatest thing. Saying, this is a great culture. It's a good country. We care about our country. And I think that's fine. It's okay to care about your country. But this is another level where you're praying. Like, I know if you have a church, you have your American flag, cool. But if you're praying on the American flag, it's another level. If you're praying on the Palestinian flag, it's like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think they're using it as a justification for their already religious and holy war, and they're I think they're incorporating that into their worship. Okay, so I wanted to bring up a picture of where a fence is being constructed and being repaired to keep the Palestinians out of their country here, and in Gaza. Whoops, I don't have that set up. I'm sorry. And this was on Twitter. I think you could see it here. Can you guys see that? Yeah. But the key thing to pay attention to here is this is in Egypt.
Out of Egypt, yeah.
Egypt is doing. There was a comment that was made in chat. I can't remember who made the comment that dealt with how what happened to what happened to Lebanon when these jokers were allowed into Lebanon. They completely destroyed the country of Lebanon. And this is what happens, and this is what Egypt is fearful of if they let these jokers into Egypt.
It was Jordan too. Jordan too.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah, they let Jordan into, and even Kuwait expelled a bunch of Palestinians right after the Iraq War. All right, folks. Do we have anything that anybody wants to add to this? I got to get Mo Tatum down the road. I got 2 minutes to make it to church, and it's a 5-minute drive. Anybody? Okay. As always, thank you everybody for coming today and enjoying their Sunday afternoon with us. I get you could be doing 100 other things other than coming in here and listening to us yammer and rabble on, but it's always a blessing to have you here commenting in chat and hearing your opinions and your participations in the show, and everybody on the panel.
I do have one quick thing to say.
Mutahari, go ahead.
Mutahari. No, at the end of the day, as long as Islam promotes hate, the problems are not going to be solved.
Right. Well,
So-
it's in their scripture, and you can't get around that. And this is where when we start talking about, Islam's in need of a reformation, they've already had it, and this is what it looks like. So, all right. God bless everybody. Thank you. What else? I'm sure. Is that it, Darcy? I'm sorry. I stepped on you.
No, say God bless you all. Thanks for watching.
All right. Nice flag.
Share,
nice
subscribe. Thank you. I love it.
All right. Yes. Like, subscribe,
Let's go,
and
Brandon.
ring the bell. Let's go, Brandon. I got to play that, don't I? Where is it? Did you put a new cold close up there, Brad?
No, same one.
You did? No, I'm not. No, I see what that is. I ain't doing that. Okay. All right. Well, God bless everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Next Sunday, we will be here on the Crossing the Crescent discussion group. God bless.
Advanced student and specialist, that the standard narrative has holes. That's what
that the Muslims were rioting against one another. And as much as we don't want to face the fact, the Muslims were lying sometimes. They were fabricating, they were embellishing, and that might be hard to accept, but that is a reality.